How do you gut someone?
You take a knife and you slit them from groin to sternum. It's an honor. Are you kidding me? Look at this place. It's like Christmas. Kizu, kiss Kizu is out. Darling, I don't know what you did, Sydney, but on behalf of the entire student body, we all say thank you! Nice. Cool, you guys bring food, all right? I'll tell you what, once you guys go up to my parents' room, you know, you guys can talk, whatever.
Help me, please.
Surprise, Sydney.
See, we ask you a question, and if you get it wrong, booga! You die. Watch a few movies, take a few notes. It was fun. Yeah. Yeah! I'm ready, baby! Alright! Get up! Yeah! I remember. Ah! Fuck! Fuck! Yeah, Billy, oh, you cut me too deep. I think I'm dying here, man. Fucking hit me with the phone, Dick! I always had a thing for you, Sid!
In your dreams.
TV that killed Stu Macher.
If you believe he's dead.
I had actually been hired to come back in Scream 3 as the killer.
I'm going off the rails on a crazy train.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Chris and Shell Talk Movies. I'm Chris.
Hi, I'm Shell.
And tonight we are discussing the question, is Stu Macher alive or isn't he? Michelle, how are you?
I'm good. I'm glad we're doing this. I've been excited to talk about it for a long time.
Yes, me too. We do have Wrestling God in the comments. He says, hey, and he agrees. He reckons he's saying Stu Macher is alive. Good to see you're on board and on the train.
Yeah, thanks for stopping by on the crazy train for sure. I think my only concern with 7 is obviously we know Stu is there. So the big question is how. They have to do it so perfectly. Otherwise, they're going to alienate 65% of the fan base.
Yeah.
It can't suck. It has to be done so well. And I've said that since like the end of 4, when they were really pushing that he was going to be in 5, and then again he was going to be in 6. But it really started on the train that he was going to be in 7, even before most of it was announced. But especially when Kevin was announced to come back, because Kevin is a big is the Stu believer next to Matthew. But if they half-ass it, people aren't coming back. You know, they're just going to be like, whatever, I'm done with this crap. This was terrible. So I am cautiously optimistic that since Kevin's at the helm and Guy Busick, who's another big Stu believer, is writing, that maybe it'll be okay.
Yeah, it's like you were just saying, it's definitely going to be interesting to see exactly what they are going to do. I'm not expecting a huge role by Matthew Lillard in this one, but I'm expecting when he does come, it's going to be big.
Yeah, well, we'll talk about what we actually think is going to happen later, but this has been alive the entire time, like remembering Scream 2. Right. So you'll have to share your thoughts with us. Hi, how you doing? Thanks for stopping in. Right, that was weird, the name thing. But I'm very intrigued. I don't want to go down the whole Scream 7 rabbit hole either, but I'm very intrigued by the fact that Mark's last name is Evans. And someone pointed out today in M's stream that Sydney lives, or the movie theater, or something. There's a Cooper Road or Cooper Lane or Cooper Drive in the new film.
Okay.
So we have Evans and Cooper. So there we go back to the beginning again.
A nice little
And I mean,
throwback.
that's the big consensus. That's the big consensus that everybody thinks is going to be we're going to learn something that will blow our minds from the original. He's actually done. Interesting.
I can see here we've got 5 people in here. Let us know what you think. Do you think he's alive or do you think he's dead?
Yeah, give us some thoughts. I mean, there's so much that leads to whether the thought that Stu is in fact alive. Yep. Now, I didn't find Scream until the third one. How? I don't know. I must have been living under a giant rock. But then I didn't hear like about the blue flannel until recently, or the Stu didn't really hit me until 6. So I didn't really catch a lot of the stuff in 5, but I feel that 6 has a whole lot of Stu clues, as they call them. And I think there's even some argument for some in 3. Because I don't know, that was a lot for Roman to pull off by himself. Oh, I already did that one. He's alive because if you look into the trailer, right in Ghostface that was stabbing. Yes. Mm-hmm. That's a big one. Yep, tapping on the glass. And that is basically proven to be Stu in that costume at that time.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even think about it as that way, as the tap on the wall and then with the car keys in the first one. That's a good bloody point, actually.
Yep.
So well done.
And there's so let's discuss the hot button issue. Was it Stu that killed Dewey?
I think so. That's exactly one reason why I did put it in my intro. And as I have mentioned before, if you do go back and watch it, the Scream robe is different in that scene.
Right. I always forget that.
Yeah.
But the fringe on the bottom is different than the other costumes.
Yeah, well, it's not even that as well. It's almost like he's wearing a suit with sort of like a Darth Vader robe at the back. Where if you look at all the other robes, you can tell that it's a pullover over your head robe. Where if you go back and watch that, if you watch that scene, it looks like he's wearing a sort of a Darth Vader suit with a cape on the back. That's what that looks like.
I'm gonna have to watch that again. I know Amber took credit for it, and I know, I'm not saying that Amber couldn't have done it because of her size and the size of the person that kills Dewey. I mean, the dude's 6'5" and weighs 350, and Amber weighs $1.50 or $1.50. But the Amber's kill style is very erratic and stabby. she's not one to, you know, at the end when he pulls the knives out and he goes like this, it's very flashy and flamboyant. And that's not even really Richie style. That would be more of a Stu thing, or a Billy thing for that matter, or even honestly even a Roman thing. But it doesn't fit the kill style of either of our killers in that film.
No.
And as you pointed out in your opening, and it's been brought up before, that he says, you know, gut them from groin to sternum, and that's exactly what happens to Dewey.
Yes.
So I mean, I think, to me, that is the biggest Stu clue. That's the absolute biggest one.
Yes, I think Stu killed Dewey
Couldn't do it the
because he
first
was.
time, and that anybody else couldn't do it. And he had to do it by himself because, again, like a second try. It's like a way of saying I failed once, but I will not fail again. And then it's an honor, paying homage to the fact that it was Dewey.
Yeah.
You know, and at least giving Dewey the credit that he deserved, you know, that he was a worthy opponent. Yeah, that's a good point, that he couldn't do it the first time. And the second time. Dewey's been around the block.
Yeah. And if you do want to go back to the whole Stu cult thing, if you go into Scream 5 when the phone actually rings in that whole third act, they're saying that is Stu on the phone. When Melissa Barreras goes, "Oh, that's for you." Like Stu's actually checking in.
Oh, right. Yes. I've heard that too. I've also, with the beginning of 5, it obviously can't be one person. Because when Ghosty gets in the house, he's talking to Tara. She would hear him. Now, I'll put aside the fact that the stunt person is not the same size as the killer, because that would give them away. But I will not accept that we're stupid and we're just going to assume that the person in the room who's about to be murdered is deaf. So she would have to hear that ghost face, who, according to Zach Cherry, that is a mudroom directly behind her. That's where Ghosty comes in. So she would hear that person talking behind her without fail, without a doubt. So how would that person be talking to her and stabbing her at the same time? So there had to be someone else involved. Was it Richie? It's said that Richie was in Modesto with Sam.
Yes.
Sam says this. I heard another theory that Richie drugged Sam with her anti-anxiety meds enough so she would sleep through the night so he could drive the 4 hours to Woodsboro and come back after the Tara situation.
Yeah.
I still think that's 9 hours time. That's a lot.
Definitely
And a lot of her getting up to pee, or, you know, what I just think that's a lot to rely on medication to knock somebody out.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you're talking hardcore narcotics or something. So I tend to think that was Stu helping that day.
Yeah, I have sort of had a bit of a Stu theory with that part. Like after she gets stabbed and she shuts the door, and then the ghost face starts banging on the door. The pattern that he used to bang on the door is very similar to the way Stu does it in part 1. After with Randy and Stu. You know,
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna have to go back and listen to that.
So yeah, when I was gonna say when Billy lets oh shit, what is it? I'm trying to think how the bloody scene goes now.
You think about that.
Yeah.
Wrestling God says, and the whole thing with him saying it was an honor was a callback to what Charlie was saying in Scream 4. So he was dedicated to say that to Dewey after what happened with Charlie. I'm not sure I follow that. And he mimicked Charlie in the first part of 5 when he attacked Tara. So do you think I think Stu was on the phone with the Tara thing. I think Amber did the stabby stab. Oh my God, we won. Sorry, my game's over. Niners are in the playoffs. Whew. All right, I'm with it.
Okay, I got it. So it's when Sydney's at the porch, and then Stu and Randy are approaching her, and she both think, and Sydney thinks that Stu and Randy are both the killers, and she goes, "Oh, fuck you both."
Right.
There's a
And
bang
she
at
shuts
the
the door
door.
and she goes in.
Yes, there's a bang on the door, and it sounds pretty close to the way it does in 5.
Really?
Yes.
Well, I'm gonna have to start making notes of stuff I have to watch tomorrow.
And yeah, another reason why I do think Stu is alive, it's basically one of the footages that I did put in the intro where Matthew Lillard said himself that he was actually hired to come back to be the original killer in Scream 3, but then they changed it due to the whole incident at Columbine. So
he was paid to be in 3.
yes,
His full salary, and he wasn't in 3.
Without
Not
shooting
in 5, and
without shooting a single shot.
Yep. There's also dialogue clues, like the fact that in 5 Dewey says he's Billy's accomplice, not he was Billy's accomplice. How he gets very upset about Tara not including him in the killers in the original. He just said it was Billy Loomis. There's another incident like that I'm missing.
Yeah, I'm reading your comment, and so you'll say that Stu was the one who killed Tatum in the original. See, I'm actually the opposite. See, I say Billy did that.
I have an argument for both. I don't think we'll ever know unless they come out and say it. One of them, they both would have reeked of beer. So I don't know how either one of them did it. Because Stu would have come back into the house and stood next to Sid.
Yeah.
Not just smelling like he just had a bunch of beer, reeking of beer. Because he was still in his sexy little Hugh Hefner robe.
Yes.
And Billy would have come around the house and maybe dumped the Ghostface mask, or ensemble, but still would have had clothes on it. I mean, I doubt he was naked under there, and still would have reeked of beer. So I don't think there's a good argument for either one of them to be the killer.
Well, the reason I say it's Billy is because he gives Stu that look when he slides at the front door.
Right.
He gives him that nod. He gives him that eyebrow sort of nod that like it's been done.
Yep. I always thought it was Billy until I saw Zach Cherry did a Who Killed Who video, because I was stumped because we're doing one and I was stumped on one killer or one victim, I should say. And so I watched all of the movies, not just the movie I needed, of which he was no help to me at all. But so he said it was Stu, and I thought, well, there's a valid argument for that, but I don't know. I'm still torn on that one.
Yeah,
the beer has me floored. Like, where's the beer?
It's definitely interesting. Well, whoever did it anyway, they let him back in the house anyway. because after she was dead, obviously the door to the garage reopens again. So they're waiting for it to be. So obviously they're waiting for it to be done.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a tough one. Oh, we just canceled each other out. I think Stu was the one on the phone with Sid in every film, because in the second one he said, "Remember me," and then he said, "Welcome home." I think he was the one on the phone with Gail too.
On Scream 6?
In six,
Okay.
yeah. He said like it was nostalgic, and that's a throwback to an older film. He knew somehow that no ghostie had ever called her. And there was there's another point. Damn it, I have to find it.
Oh, was that when she says like Sydney got all the glory?
Sydney got all the glory. But I just like there's a lot of and again, not going with the fact that Quinn could never have hurled that giant man through the bookcase, like never. And she pulled him off barely on screen without a whimper out of this guy. He would have snapped your neck in a heartbeat, guaranteed. But with all that withstanding, he made such a show out of it. How he grabbed him, killed him, chucked him through the bookcase. I think that was a bookcase. And then just started taunting Gail about how his muscles and how he was this and how Sid got all the glory and Gail didn't, Gail was just the basically like the side piece kind of thing.
Yeah.
I think that phone call was far too personal to be Richie, or I'm sorry, one of the other three idiots. They didn't know Gail well enough. They didn't know the right thing to say I mean, obviously you could bring up Dewey and hurt her, but the way it was said and just the mannerisms and things like that I don't think that the other ones could have held up that end of that conversation and made it the way it was.
I was just going to go back to one of your questions here. Where you say that you reckon Stu's on the phone all the time. He was definitely in the robe when in Sydney's first attack in Scream 1. Because when he's running up the stairs, he does the whole easy, and
yeah, it's definitely Lillard in that one for sure.
Yeah, because Stu when Stu attacked with the knife, he always did the over the head like that. When Billy would do it, he did the whole arch back.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that statement.
And one thing they did make prominent in Scream 1 is you could tell who was on the phone in Scream 1. You could tell whether it was Billy or Stu. Because Roger Jackson definitely made sure he did it as two different people.
Yes.
Because where Billy had more the aggression to him, where Stu had the comical to it.
That's partly like the guy who calls Tara has a little bit of comic relief to him. The way he's like, oh shit, group, and like he's kind of giggling to himself.
Yeah. And another theory everyone always has in that whole segment with the whole opening in Scream 5 was when he asked the question about the two killers in Stab, and they say Billy and Stu Macher. He makes sure he's very aggressive when he says his name. Because
and Stu Macher, right? Yeah, it's like got a bite to it.
Yeah, because when they've always talked about the previous Screams, they've always just mentioned Billy. Stu's never got a mention.
Right. Which part of me thinks like that's part of the reason he's coming back, because he's tired of he wasn't second fiddle. I think that we'll find out that he was a bigger player than they let on.
Okay, yeah. So I'm just trying to read the comments as well.
Yeah, he did. I don't think he had a very good life at all. Poor Stu. I mean, obviously they left him alone when they went on vacation. Told him to make sure you feed the cat.
Yes.
Happy birthday, because it was his birthday, right? Wasn't it his birthday?
There was something.
There was some sort of event. It was on the board.
Yeah.
In the kitchen. I think it
Because
was his birthday.
on the note from his parents, he says, "I will see you when we get home, or we'll celebrate when we get home." Something
right.
like that.
Which is, it was Roman's birthday too. During the killings. I don't know, just grasping.
Yeah.
Just throwing shit and see if it sticks to the wall. I can't really think of him having much to do with 2. I don't think I have any notes of him in like really having anything to do with 2. Other than the party. When he's at the party. When Matthew Lillard is in the party.
Yes, with blonde hair.
Right. But would any of those people, besides Sid, obviously and Dewey, but he wouldn't have been at that party, nor would Gail, would any of those people have recognized him?
Well, only would have been her and Randy.
Right. Forgot about Randy.
Because Randy was just
talking. So, I mean, as long as he was cognizant of who he was around and what he was doing, could it have been Stu? Or was it just a nice Easter egg to have Lillard in there?
Well, they could definitely use that and say that he was in the background. But also, in a way, I think they had just clutching at straws of that because he was also just dating Nev Campbell at the time, too. Right. You didn't know that?
Oh, I did.
Yeah, so if you do want to go, if they do want to jump off that point, they could definitely do it.
What it could be that Roman got abandoned. His mom felt left. I feel like Stu would have a better reason than shitty family, though. I think his family is what got him out of it. I think there's a good argument that I've heard that when Sid calls from the Jeep, he's going to try and kill me through the radio. It takes and I appreciate that the house is remote, but it takes forever for the cops to get there. Everybody's dead. The whole kitchen scene has happened. I mean, that's 20 minutes for anybody to show up. So could the call have gone in and Sheriff Burke got a hold of it, and then Sheriff Burke got a hold of the parents, or Sheriff Burke just delayed sending the cops out there or something? Because possibly. maybe the parents had something on him. Maybe he was just in cahoots with the parents. Maybe they were extraordinarily wealthy.
Yes. So
maybe he thought, well, if I get their kid out of this, then maybe they'll owe me a favor, or maybe they'll give me some money. Or I always thought Sheriff Burke was super friggin' hinky anyway. I mean, we were supposed to, because he was a red herring, but I just thought he was more suspect than he was in the movie. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And as to whether or not he could have survived the TV, you could totally survive that TV. He put his arms up to catch it before it landed on his head. Now, I'm not saying it didn't hit him in the face, because obviously it did, because his hands were at his side at the end. But he did slow it down. And then they say, well, they're not that heavy because Kirby threw one at Ethan in
Scream 6. Yeah.
She didn't throw it at Ethan. It was on a TV stand. She shoved it. Big difference between hurling it and shoving it. She shoved it just like Sydney did.
Yeah.
And, well, it killed Ethan. Well, of course it did. Did you see the job that Tara did on Ethan's face and his mouth with that knife?
Yeah.
I mean, Ethan was a goner. The TV just helped him along. There was no way Ethan was coming back from that. That knife was coming out the back of his head when she was twisting it. So for people to say, well, it killed Ethan, it definitely killed Stu, that's not a good argument for me at all.
Just give me 1 second.
Because, like you said, Casey, they'll never make it at time. They're out here in the middle of nowhere. Right. I don't know. I see, like, and again, I understand they're rural, but with a murderous rampage happening, every cop in the city was out. So there had to be somebody on that side of town. At least within 5 or 10 minutes, not 20. I mean, I've never timed it, but that kitchen scene is long.
Yeah.
And then you have, the kitchen scene, then you have the hallway scene where they kill Billy and stuff. So I just feel like there was a reason that it took so long for that to come to fruition, we'll say. They both wear sweaters. Another thing about, thank you for mentioning sweaters. Stu's sweater, his white sweater, is not in the shrine. And I never noticed that. His Hefner robe is.
Yes.
But the sweater that he died in is not. And they said that they got everything in the shrine from police evidence.
Yeah.
So why wasn't his sweater in evidence?
That's a good point.
Never thought of that one either.
No, neither had I.
I hate the shrine, but that's okay.
And
I don't hate it. I just feel it was misused.
And another theory they talk about with Scream 1 is they talk about they reckon Roman came in and saved Billy and saved Stu.
Yes.
Sorry.
I heard that too.
Which was a good point.
Yep. If he he wanted them to get away with it. He didn't, well, kind of, because he said, find a patsy and set him up.
Yeah.
But maybe he wanted Billy to be the patsy. But he showed Billy I don't know, we could. All right,
you could really go around in circles all day with different things.
We could, for sure. Let's see. No. Not that one. I'm going down my list.
So yeah, I'll quickly mention this. Another part where I reckon they could jump off in Scream 7 just to say that like Stu had been keeping an eye on everything. I actually put it in the intro as well. Was in the metro scene, he could be that ghost face, which is actually goes towards Sam and Tara and that, and then he does that beeline and then bolts off the train.
Right when Danny steps in front of Sam.
Yeah.
Could be. Just to make sure everybody, all the players are in the right spot. I mean, that's an excellent. I mean, he could have been dressed as anybody, but that's definitely a way that he could have checked to see what was going on.
Yeah.
Now we have to shoot them in the head. Now, besides a obviously very dead Richie, Stu's the only one that hasn't been shot in the head.
No, he hasn't been shot in the head.
So, I mean, right there out of Randy's rule book. It says Stu's alive. Now, is he the leader of the ghosty cult, do you think?
Oh, I would have to think so. Because they do talk about this, the subreddit. That's
right.
where Richie and Amber met. So
right.
someone had to have started that thing and then was getting people.
And Kirby said she'd been watching Jason and Greg's online activity.
Yes.
And she follows this, like, she takes a special interest in Ghostface killings, which I understand, obviously, but and group, I think the conversation in group is about the cult, and 5
Yeah.
is about the cult.
Yeah.
But what are they doing when they're not, like, because you figure each of these nights, it's roughly 3 nights, the events of a Ghostface killing, like the events in each movie, we'll say they're 3 nights.
Yeah, you have
So-
the attack on one night, and then you got the day.
Right. So if we give them 3 nights, there are 15 nights in the last 5 films. What are they doing for the other 20 years? 25 years?
I don't know.
Are they just randomly killing people like Ghostface, but not dressed up like Ghostface? Like, because the robe is reserved for special times? That sounds
know,
creepy.
special times like tubby time? Good point. Yeah, I've never really sort of gone down that road, sort of what they're all doing when it's not obviously Ghostface scream time.
Yeah, Kirby made me think of that when she said when she's following the Ghostface killings, and I'm like, well, there's only been 2 sets since you've been out, since your injury. You know, there were the 3 days and 5, and Tara says, I'm not going to let what happened to us for those 3 days define my life. So that was definitely 3 days, and then we'll say 3 days and 6.
Yeah.
And she showed up on day 1. So what the hell is she doing?
It's a good
That
point.
leads me to believe there's more that we just don't know about.
Yeah.
And Kevin Williamson did agree with me, actually, say that the TV may have broken bones and caused disfigurement, but did not kill him.
That's a good point. That's kind of where that picture comes from, which I used at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and also going back to the cult thing, I would probably say like Richie would have had to be. I think Richie would have been pretty high up in that cult as well.
I would think so too, because he was freaking bananas.
Yeah.
Like once he found that was his, that was his church.
Yeah. Because also
sure.
when Jason says, oh, we have to finish Richie's story. So obviously he must have been very high up.
Right. And how?
That he's got to continue the story.
Right. But maybe I'm going too deep, but the story of 5 that got out into the world was that Sam killed everybody.
Yeah.
So how would Jason and Greg know that they had to finish Richie's story if Richie's story was never published?
I'm probably thinking that Jason knew that Richie and Amber were gonna go on that killing spree
Because of the cult.
Yes.
Right, but that's my point. Like they had to find out that way. There was no other way for them to find out about that. So that there has to be a central hub of ghosty information.
Yeah.
This could be something where you'd have complacency, which could lead him into how everything happened, because it had to be something way before Woodsboro, for like what the trailer said. What did the trailer say?
Yeah, can you elaborate on that a bit further?
I think Stu killed Jason and Greg because he literally got reminded of what their plan were and how they. I'm not against the fact that Stu killed Jason and Greg.
Well, we were talking about that the other night.
Yeah, I don't have a big argument either for or against it, but I'm not completely against it. I mean, obviously, we all assume, and it can be pretty much proven that it's not even pretty much. It's proven that it's Bailey.
Yeah, because he said we have to.
The other two were at the party.
Yeah, he said, well, we had to take care of those. And he also said that we had to take care of those other kids too. Can't remember the exact line now. But he said something about we had to take care of those other two kids so we could finish the job or something.
To kill them because I think he could have killed Laura himself because she was the first name of the. Remind me where Sid's name was in part 3. Laura? Oh, that's good. Her name was Laura in part 3. On the crisis hotline.
Yeah.
Nice. Didn't even think of that. See, more name fun. I try to block that whole her on the phone scene because then it leads into her taking a nap, and that scene with the mother walking through scares the shit out of me.
Yeah.
I, in fact, don't watch it. I mute the TV and close my eyes. I cannot handle it. Let's see. I said they met on a message board. Oh, and Mrs. Loomis and Mickey. Mickey said he met Deb on the message board. Serial killer message board.
Yeah.
So not necessarily a subreddit, but did they have Reddit back then?
Don't think
When
so.
2 came out, was that 97? So
Yeah, 97
if Reddit was a thing, it wasn't the thing it is now. So I feel like they've been obviously in 2 there were hints to him, little hints that maybe we didn't pick up on yet because they would have made more sense once we got the 3 we were supposed to get.
Yeah.
But then when we didn't get that one, the clues just keep rolling. Like eventually it's going to drop. And then I think, in my opinion, and Radio Silence has not said this, but they said that Sam was supposed to be, well, no, Billy said that, or Skeet said that Sam was supposed to be the killer in 7, but no one's indicated whether or not Matthew was supposed to come back for 7. So would have all of Radio Silence and Guy Busick's writing have led to 7.
Yeah, it's interesting, but just going back with the whole Sam thing as a killer, I don't think she was actually. I'm not 100% sure whether she was meant to be a Ghostface killer, whether she just took it out on the actual people that actually were doing the killing. Like she was going to take them out. I don't think she was
going to be Ghostface per se. I think she was going to do what she did to Bailey to other Ghostfaces.
Yeah.
I think that was like Skeet worded it correctly, but everybody took it incorrectly.
Yeah.
Of course, maybe everybody would have just assumed that Sam went bad. And that's how, that went. Because people never assume the good in people.
Yeah, I always took her as good. I just thought that she just like that mask sort of gave us some sort of power. It like drew her.
Yeah, and she was super conflicted too.
Yeah, because she did want to keep it at the end of the 6th, and then before she dropped it.
Yep. I'm reading through my notes. Pops. And the fact that a lot of, well, not a lot of it, but part of this film is going to take place in Stu's old house, and Woodsboro, and we burn it down, and it's on the poster. I mean, it screams that Stu is back. I mean, with all the hype that they are giving this return, I can't imagine how he's not going to be alive. Like, my thought is, like, is he going to be in a cage like Hannibal Lecter was, and they're going to go talk to him? Is that how we're going to see him at the end? Behind his little computer in his little plastic box?
Um,
That got me thinking, what if Stu killed Christine and Cotton because since their playing failed the first time, he wanted to kill Cotton after him getting all the fame. Oh, well, Christine was a wrong place at the very wrong time, unfortunately. And Cotton certainly did get a lot of fame that Stu may have thought that he was entitled to. Sure. I think they will kill Sydney. No, Sydney's not going anywhere. Definitely not.
Definitely ballsy for you to think that, but I think even Nev Campbell said herself she won't let a character die on screen.
She said she won't film it, and Kevin Williamson said he would never kill her off because Christine was named after Sam's actual mother. Well, that is her mother's name. Is it Christine?
Yeah, Christine is her mother's name.
So that's 4 names that's interesting. Just think that baby is on the way of how he never went to jail and never went to psych ward. He's been hiding the entire time. Where's he been, though? Like in a McDonald's bathroom?
That's the big question. Where the hell has he been?
Yeah, because, like, I don't know, like they said, well, he's been in a hospital or he's been in a loony bin or something, but you would think that somebody somewhere knew that we've been introduced to. Now there's the school of thought that Kirby and Dewey knew. Either they knew that each other knew, or they knew independently from one another that Stu was alive. And that's why Dewey started going downhill. He was keeping the secret. He couldn't take it anymore. He couldn't wake up facing Gail anymore, that he was lying to her, that this person that, butchered their lives was alive, and he couldn't tell her. And if he knew, what did he know? That 1, that he was alive, or 2, that he was, out there in the world, that he was not only alive, but he escaped from the McDonald's bathroom he was hanging out in. I mean, and then there's a lot of weird glances that Kirby gives in 5 that people are equating to the fact that she knows more about Stu than she's fessing up to. I don't know about that. I think that's teetering on I don't know about that, but it could be. She definitely, and I appreciate she's invested, because, I mean, she almost lost her life from it, but she just seems a little, I don't know.
Knows more than she lets on.
Yeah, like she's a little sus, as they say.
But I think either way, whether someone helped him escape, or whether they went to some secret medical thing and they patched him up, even if someone helped him escape, he would have had to, whoever helped him escape would have had to have known some sort of medical training.
Right, he definitely needed medical help, for sure.
They would have had to patch him up with all the stab wounds and that he got.
Right, and that would have taken many, many months of recovery. Yeah. Not just the facial lacerations, but I'm sure he had broken facial bones because, as discussed, the TV is heavy. And they are heavy. You know, we all used to own them. And the stab wounds, you know, I'm getting a little woozy here. He was stabbed. Billy was trying to get rid of his sidekick because he didn't want Billy and Stu to survive. He wanted Billy to survive.
Yeah.
If that's not apparent, you know, sell out the other guy. Well, you know, I saved us all from this psycho who killed everybody. It was me. I saved everybody. I think Stu was the one that wanted to kill Mindy, but then after he saw her girlfriend, he just wanted Mindy to feel depressed by killing. Could be. That's been shown to be, well, I mean, he would still call the shots as to, you know, who would die, I would imagine. It wasn't necessarily a crime of opportunity. So Stu would say, well, you know, go to the apartment and kill everybody except Sam. Because obviously you don't want Sydney to die in the opening act, because you want it to be a little more creative and a little more suspenseful.
Yeah.
So I don't think Sid was ever meant to die in her house that day with Stu chasing her around the house. I think that was just meant to scare her.
Yeah, definitely.
So Stu can say, you know, go to the apartment and hack up one or two people, but then, you know, leave Sam and Tara alone for now until we get them to the shrine, because that's where we want them to see everything that's happened and everything they've been part of and all that.
That is a good point you made, though, with the whole where like Stu turned and basically blamed Billy for everything. I've never even thought about it like that. That's very interesting.
That's why we're talking. What else do you have?
I have nothing really, because I have heard that point before, that they like, not saying that. I don't think Stu is in that mental ward, but people have said that maybe he's for a while he's going to help Sydney for a while. That's interesting. That's a good point. That could lead that off.
I've heard that too, that he's going to help, but he's not really helping her. He's helping her so that he can have her.
Yeah.
You know, he's opportunistically helping her. I had this, we had just gotten done talking about Scream and I went to bed and I had this dream that Ghosty was after and he had Sid, and another Ghosty comes over and stabs the original one and says, she's mine, and shoves the one out of the way. But when he talks, it's Stu's voice. Like, he didn't have the modulator on. So he saved her from that ghost face only to do whatever he was going to do with her after that scene. So I don't think that's, like, what if the cult is there and Stu's actually there this time? Because, like, he's done with the shit. These people aren't handling it well enough, so he's going to take it all into his own hands. And but then there's these other people that, unbeknownst to everyone else, decide to go killing people at this time, dressed as Ghostface. It's an anniversary that we can't remember, or we're not putting together, or it's just some random Halloween, and they figure out who Sydney Prescott is, because I'm pretty sure she didn't change her name. So it's not too difficult to figure out who Sydney Prescott is. So maybe the cult swoops in, like maybe they weren't ready to act this weekend or something, and they swoop in to get rid of these outliers, and then they take over, and that's how the end of 7 is, or something. I don't know.
What's this?
I think Stu also had to be the one who wanted to kill Judy and Wes, because after all, she did mention that she still went to high school with Sid, and anybody that was connected to her would die. She did say that. Sheriff Judy. I loved Judy. I was so bummed that she and Wes died. They went out in a good glory though, but I really like Judy.
Yes. Yeah, I definitely liked her in 5 more than I did in 4.
She was
I thought-
underutilized in 4.
I thought 4 she was a bit ditzy.
Yeah, her and her lemon squares. But I was super glad she had lemon squares in 5.
Yeah.
There's lemon squares in the fridge, and even Wes is like, "You're friggin' lemon squares." So good though. I mean, their kills were great. I don't know. We're going to talk about that another time, but
Yeah.
it could be said that he killed Judy as she's quote unquote a legacy character. I don't think of her as a legacy character. I don't think Stu had anything to do with that. Like maybe she was on the list that, it's her time to go, but I don't think in any way Stu was involved in that at all.
Yeah. I think what we will do now is we will head on, just talk about 7, I think.
One more thing.
Oh, yeah.
What do you think about Stu being Tara's father?
Well, that would be an interesting point. I've never really thought about how they would make that work though.
Yeah, I never heard of. I heard somebody give the theory. That's why I thought I'd ask to see if you had it. All right, let's get on to 7.
I probably will start off with this, like other YouTubers and that they talk about, Stu's just going to come back as like an AI voice. I think that's a possibility and a point, but I do think Stu is going to come. I do believe Stu is going to come back in physical form, because if they were really just going to use him as a voice, we would have seen just photos of him in a studio booth doing voiceovers. Actors do not, but he has talked about it, saying that it was good to be on set and meet and hang out with Nev Campbell and David Arquette and that again. Actors don't normally go to set unless they have to go there to film something.
He would have. I think he would have. But it made me really nervous when Williamson posted that picture of him a couple of weeks ago in defense of him to Quentin Tarantino, when they just showed him doing the voiceover.
Yeah.
It made me really nervous thinking that's all we're going to get.
But that's common though, because sometimes, like a voice might not come out properly.
I know it
during the
doesn't sound
filming,
right.
So
I know.
they've got to redub that part.
Made me really nervous though.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm thinking we're going to get Scream 7, and the killer is going to be someone else or someone else's. There's going to be a couple of them, and then I reckon Stu's going to show up at the end. That's the way I'm going.
My thought is that the scene that most people think is the opening, which is Stu's house, is at least the very end when he sets the house on fire. I don't think that's the beginning. I think that's the end. And I think what they showed us there is the actual end of 7, him walking out, and he's going to walk away and give us some sort of indication that is Stu, whether he takes off his mask or something, or he like pulls off a glove and it's all scratched up and scarred or something.
Yeah.
And maybe it's not direct, but it's direct enough that we know that it's him.
Yeah.
I don't know what that would be. But I find it shocking that they would give us the opening again, like they did in 5.
Yeah. Like I said, I do agree, but I do reckon what we did see at the start of the trailer with the whole Michelle Randolph and I forgot the guy's name. I reckon
never remember him either.
I reckon that is the start, but I reckon it is broken into 2.
Yeah.
When the house is actually on fire, I reckon that's actually the end.
Mm-hmm.
But the actual attack, I believe, will be at the start of the film. That's my guess.
I slowed the trailer down, and when he's lighting the match, you can hear people screaming in the background.
Yeah.
And I think he's actually saying to that person who I think is Sid, I'm going to burn it all down. Now, how the hell he got her to Woodsboro, I don't know. Well, I have a theory. But I think that after the trailer, you hear that Ghostface said quietly, hello, 3 times, like he feels like he knows that they're there. But he doesn't know how he is there. Ghostface said quietly, hello. Oh, right. He says hello. So when Tatum is in her room.
Interesting.
Yeah. Okay. And that once you see him rise up, breathing heavily, lets you know that he might be right, some sort of breathing apparatus, because like he sounds like everyone equates it to Darth Vader, but that's not too far-fetched. But like he doesn't breathe right because he's kind of breathing in a can or something, you know?
Yeah. It's got that sort of weird voice, that weird sort of
Yeah.
breathe. Yeah. Interesting.
I'm not sure on the killers. I mean, I've heard rumors that there could just be one. I think one's hard anymore. I mean, Scott Foley, Roman, barely pulled it off. And there's thoughts that he didn't. I do not want Anna Camp to be Leslie Mocker in any way whatsoever. I just want Anna Camp to be Jennifer, Sid's best friend.
Okay.
That's it. I don't want, the only Mocker that I want involved in this movie is Stu. I don't care that Vince died. I don't care any of it. I don't want any of it. It's too much. Like, we need to move on from all the family crap. No, that'll be another discussion. Let's see.
I love that wrestling god. That's a good point. I always just thought that was something they were going to do for Scream 7. I never actually pointed that as like he's breathing in the trailer would be part of due to his injuries from the TV.
That was the first thing I thought of. Yeah, it would have messed up his sinuses.
That's a good bloody point. I love that.
I'm curious as to, I mean, I get why they're bringing Dewey's voice back, and I have a theory as to one of the spots where they'll use it. And I am very confused as to what Roman's purpose coming back is. Don't get me wrong. I love Scott Foley. I am super friggin' thrilled that he's back, but I cannot figure out why he's back if we don't have Skeet.
That's a good point. I know this is Stu's dream, but what's everyone's thought on?
We can't have that. Well, you said we were moving on to 7, so
yeah. No, I was going to say
we can't have that that flashback that we all want without Skeet. You know, nothing about Maureen, nothing about the original meeting between the 3 of them. We can't have any of that. If it happened the way that Roman alluded to at the end of 3, then we can't have any of that. So what is the purpose? I mean, it has to be like flashback videos or something, maybe. Because his voice playing in Sydney's head, she'd be like, this is bullshit, whatever. But Dewey's voice will impact her, especially saying what he says in the trailer.
Yeah.
But and if in fact he says that to Sid, but even if he says that to Gail, I mean, that's just not nice. But what is the purpose of, right? What is it? What is the point of Scott Foley? I mean, there's apparently footage of him out there in a ghosty robe. So what's he doing?
Yeah, and like I said, we were talking about Stu and that, and I can't wait to see what's that going to be. But that is what I am intrigued about. I want to know what Scott Foley is going to be doing.
Me too. I mean, I think that's a bigger mystery than what what Stu is going to be, because Sam, I read my notes. Stu's going to be involved no matter what. Like, he's obviously coming for Sid. The chances of him being a good guy are nil. And if he is going to be a good guy on that, like that quick blurb that I thought of a couple weeks ago, it's going to be a short-lived good guy. He's just going to help Sid in order to take her.
Yeah.
So, I can't come up with one solid reason that Scott Foley is in this film unless everybody is lying to us and Skeet is really in it.
Yeah, so that is definitely the $1 million question of the day. What is his role?
Yep. Why is he in it? Because I don't get it.
And he himself said that he was on set. So it's not just a voice.
Yep.
So
he's in another show I watch right now, which is super exciting. I've loved him forever. So I'm super excited that he's back. I just hope, again, it's like everything else, it's not wasted.
Did you watch that other show he was in? Was it Whiskey something?
Yes, I did. When they were in Prague. I can't remember. It was Whiskey something, but he was in it with his wife, his actual wife.
Okay.
Whose name I can't pronounce. But yeah, it was good. It was enjoyable, but it cost like $1 bazillion because they filmed it in Prague.
The Whiskey Cavalier.
That was it. Yes. I think Roman Rollins 7 is going to be addressing past mistakes, even that, if that makes sense, because we know his reason why he became Ghostface, but there's going to be more popular. You mean a better reason for it than Mommy was having an affair and Sid got all the good stuff and she got to live in the big house and he lived in the barnyard or whatever?
The barnyard.
Well, we don't know anything about his life. He didn't say. He just said, damn you for getting everything I should have had. Okay. So there's a more complex reason as to why he wanted to kill Sid. Interesting. I hadn't thought that way. I just assumed it had nothing to do with that reasoning. But that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah, I've got nothing really more need to add.
No, me either. But for me, that is the $100 million question. Dear Scott Foley, what are you doing in that movie?
Yes.
And I'm so glad I can watch you on Will Trent every week.
Yeah, I'm going to say that's the end. We're going to call that the live stream. We will be live again tomorrow, tonight at 9 p.m. Australian Central Time. We are doing a watch party for The Purge Anarchy, so hopefully you can drop in and watch that with us. I will let you know the movie is provided. We do have a movie room set up where you can click on the link and you will be able to watch the film along with us. So if you are awake at that time, hopefully you can, because it is 5:30 Eastern Standard USA time. So
5:30.
Yeah, so hopefully you can join us for that and click on that link in the movie room and you will be able to watch that film along with us.
So get up, get your coffee, and come and sit with us and suffer through this film with me.
It's a fun one. Thanks for hanging out with us, and thanks everyone who I can see in the.
Yeah, thanks for your input. We really appreciate it. Yeah,
we appreciate
really
it.
great
And,
ideas.
Hit the like button and subscribe, and then hopefully we'll see you soon.
Thanks for watching.
Bye everybody.